At the moment, Manchester is blue, although the headlines were writing, first blood goes to Manchester City, even though when you cut yourself, Jason, blood is red.
No one makes me bleed my own.
But either way, Manchester City showed a great deal of promise in their first game. I did a recap. You can check that out. If you haven't caught up in it, I'm going to ask, how's that rock you're living under and what's going on
I
over there?
like your new recap strategy where you hit record and sit.
No, I don't hit record.
Oh.
I have a little birdie fly down.
And hit record. I always thought, I'm waiting for the one where you missed the chair.
I missed the chair. I'm going to do it very soon. And
right
of course,
over.
with the Celtic Rangers recap, the Takati partner in crime was with me. He's like,
You've been watching so much Narcos.
oh my God,
It's
far
like
too
affected your beer you're drinking.
I know, I'm drinking. You're so right. But either way, I wanted to talk about this man. We're talking about Manchester City. Jason, I'm going to play a little game of charades, and you're going to see if you can tell me who it is.
That's Pep. Is that Pep? It's not Pep. It's Pep. It's Pep Guardiola. I don't know. It's a jackal? It's a jackal. Family
Pep Guardiola on the sideline is easily the most fun guy to watch. He does when he gets antsy, man, he whistles with everything and then all these different signals. I'm guessing someone like Raheem Sterling is just like, you what, mate? What are you talking about?
What's great is like Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola during the Manchester Derby were the exact living personified versions of the right brain and the left brain.
Yes. Except both
logical, Jose Mourinho, very straight-laced, narrow, quiet, and then you have Pep, who's like out of his goddamn mind.
The question of this clip, as you see from the title, is at the moment Manchester's blue. Pep Guardiola's thoughts where do they lie this season? Is it with the Champions League? Is it with the Premier League? Is it with it both?
We have a quote.
We have a quote
From Pep.
It was a pleasure to be coach of Barcelona and Bayern, and with their history, they are used to reaching semis and finals, he added. Manchester City don't have that. Roberto Mancini helped us achieve the first step, and Pellegrini did a really good job to reach the semi-finals.
Good point.
Talking about the Champions League.
But this was when asked, I guess, a little more context about pretty much what's the plan?
What's the
Is it a
expectation?
Premier League title? Is it a Champions League title? Is the expectation both?
Yeah.
Which is a little convoluted given the fact that Bayern's history, the recency bias here is that he got close year after year, even after dominating his league.
Mm-hmm.
Is this someone who wants more league titles? I don't necessarily think that, but I find it interesting because he went to a team who is less likely top to bottom to win it than Bayern, but I think you have a different perspective on this altogether.
I'm just looking at his history as a way to kind of sculpt my thought process, right? So he came from Barcelona B into Barcelona for his managerial career. The first thing he did is he cleared house. Like, he emptied the closet full of very expensive jackets. Like, he allowed Deco to go, Samuel Eto'o, Ronaldinho,
Dolce & Gabbana,
Giorgio Armani. These guys, and then he added a Giorgio Armani suit to him. He shaved his head and he looked much cooler.
That's true. I did see him pre.
And he won the first La Liga title for Barcelona since 2006, I believe, when he first took over. It just so happened that he won the Champions League as well that year. So it was a very successful start for him, but you need to imagine the players that he had to play with. He had that little guy, Lionel Messi. He had a phenomenal team around him of world-class.
Iniesta too, correct?
Xavi, Puyol, like just really world-class players. So the expectation, I don't think Barcelona fans expected him to win both, but when he did, obviously that set the bar higher. When he goes to Bayern Munich, people carried that same level of expectancy. And countless interviews, Guardiola talked about how he wasn't trying to emulate Barcelona. He was trying to take his managerial experience and apply it to a team, but he didn't have Lionel Messi. He didn't have the star factor that people often overlook and think that anyone, if you take the coach away, that suddenly those players don't play the same system. Luis Enrique still plays a system that was built on the fundamentals of Pep Guardiola. Mm-hmm. He is transcendent in the game of football. So just because he left, it doesn't mean that team becomes weakened and they don't perform as well. He always had a problem.
I guess one of the things I wanted to question you on in terms of like and not similarities between the Barcelona team structure starting 11 and how they were successful winning both Champions League and La Liga to Manchester City, given the fact that they have, I believe, a superstar midfielder in Kevin De Bruyne. Absolutely. I think he continues to prove when he's on the pitch he is game-changing.
Yes.
And Sergio Aguero, when he's also on the pitch and not elbowing people, obviously the match ban, there's two more. He has a dynamic that is somewhat similar in a way. Bayern was way more mechanical from what I saw, and Lewandowski occasionally stood out, but it was, again, a big machine, whereas Manchester City, I think, is more of a creation.
Yeah,
they can create more opportunities, and sometimes, again, watching De Bruyne, I think he is a superstar midfielder.
I tend to agree, and the difference was with Bayern Munich, as you mentioned, mechanical, and he had to ask certain players to play roles that they necessarily didn't or weren't used to playing, like Philip Lahm stepping in because he was so intelligent. He had the star striker Lewandowski, he had versatile players like Thomas Müller, great players like Arjen Robben, but what was he missing? That number 10. And he tried to make Thiago into that player who's now kind of reaping the rewards of Pep Guardiola's guidance. He's now assumed to be the new starting 10 for Spain. So Kevin De Bruyne is that answer to that role, and David Silva as well. He is two very creative midfielders. So to get back to the actual question at hand, what's the what is expected of him this season? I think it has to be Premier League. Not just Premier League, though. It has to be a convincing win. They were gift-wrapped the title by Liverpool when Liverpool fell by the wayside. When Pellegrini was in charge, it wasn't earned. You can say that, and people are thinking to themselves, well, they still won it, their name's on the trophy. Yes, but you couldn't say if you're a Manchester City fan that you were walking away from that season thinking, we're the best, we're phenomenal. The way that Chelsea did under Mourinho's second season after his second term. They dominated the Premier League. Chelsea fans were happy, they were the top of the table, they were the club to beat in England, and therefore, when you move forward from that, even though it didn't pan out, their expectancy was Champions League progression. Manchester City, with this squad at the moment, are good enough to make the semis, potentially the final of the Champions League with everything right. But I don't think that Manchester City fans are expecting to win the Champions League. I just don't think that that's even on the cusp of their mind.
Really? Okay, so I don't have a grasp of Manchester City fans because I'm going to make the same joke I've always made. All 12 of them kind of combine and make their decisions together. I know there's more. I always have to mention that. It's just a joke. Everyone needs to calm down. So, given the 12 Manchester City fans, one of the things that I thought it was because of Pep's wanting of the last. You get so close when you can taste it that many times. Like Pep and Diego Simeone over the last 3 years just have tasted how close they can get to winning a Champions League, and Guardiola's done it before. So it's a huge step forward.
Yeah,
having that in your back pocket, that experience is completely, it puts you on a different plane of managerial experience. But the last thing that I have when I was looking up on Manchester Evening News and a couple other sites, and this is it's related to Pep Guardiola, he's called up 5 youngsters, which I have their names here. Of course, if anybody's interested, we can throw up that card. It's BO3. And it just goes to show that you're managing for now, but Pep Guardiola is also managing for the future.
Yep.
Because right now he's got this squad, the names Angus Gunn, Adarabayo, Mafio, Angelino, and Garcia. 3 of which defenders, which we've talked about in the past. So I just wanted to bring up the fact that how active Guardiola is in this squad and this team, and that he is not just here for right now. We know that Manchester City will not fire their manager even if they're getting their poop pushed in, like Manuel Pellegrini did for a year and a half. So he seems like he's got some security.
So the difference between Guardiola and Mourinho is that Mourinho wants to win now. There is no stopping him. He wants to go in and adjust the team, and that's why he's often been seen as that kind of the managerial figure that isn't going to utilize youth when he doesn't have to. Rashford is probably an exception because this kid's playing beyond his years. But Guardiola, when you look at his signings this year, yes, he brought in players like Gundogan, who are going to be instrumental fitting in, and he brought in talent that is often looked upon as a necessity, but also to move forward and come into their own, like Leroy Sané, who's going to play out wide and is going to be used as a versatile player, and Garcia, as you mentioned there, who are going to come in to build for the future. And that, to me, stands out as a manager who doesn't think it's going to be an immediate fix this year. They've obviously reaped the rewards of everyone believing in what Guardiola's teaching, hence why they were so dominant. 45 minutes of beautiful football against Manchester United, showcasing that they're in to take things seriously this year. But if they win the Premier League and they don't do as well as they think in the Champions League, I don't think Guardiola's panicking. I think he understands that it's a building process moving forward. And the ingredients that he have, by the way, bear with me as the audience is going to go crazy. The ingredients that he has at Manchester City, I think gives him a better chance of winning the Champions League than the ingredients he had at Bayern Munich.
We're ending there. Bold statement. I like it, though.
Hit us in the comments.
I like it. Aguero can't elbow people, if that's the case, though.
Let us know what you think. Comment section below. Is my statement ridiculous, or do you
No,
agree?
it's not that ridiculous.
I know it's not that much. Francis_Maxwell, Twitter, Jason Rubin, 91. Champions League recaps will be coming your way. When is this clip going up?
This one's for, I think, Wednesday, maybe.
All right, well, Champions League recap is probably already up, so you can check that out, and we'll be moving forward. I'm sure by this point I've already drowned a few sorrows after Celtic played Barcelona. I'm not gonna ruin it, not gonna jinx it here. You never know, some things might happen.
Come on, the
Come on, you
boys in green.
That was insane.
I know it.